I'm Nelson Pham. I use he, him pronouns. I go to Tacoma Community College, and I've lived in Tacoma my entire life. Next year, I plan on transferring to UW Seattle, and my current major is environmental science. My project was the Tacoma Public Schools tree inventory. So what is a tree inventory? A tree inventory is an assessment of all the trees in a defined area. Generally, location, size, and species are recorded. Tree inventories are used to assess risk, pest control, and track and manage the health of the forest. For this inventory, I collected data on DBH, tree condition, species, sunlight exposure, and location. So the metrics I used, tree condition is a visual assessment of the tree canopy. It was measured on the scale from excellent, good, fair, poor, and dead. So on the left-hand side, you have a tree that I'd give a visual assessment based on the canopy from fair to poor. And on the right-hand side, you have a tree I'd give an assessment from excellent or good. And then sunlight exposure is just looking at the tree on average during the day, if the sun is shining, how much of the tree canopy is actually being exposed to the sun. Both of these trees are full sunlight. There's nothing blocking the sun from shining on its leaves. And then DBH, or diameter breast height, is a measure of the tree trunk diameter 4.5 feet above the ground, and in metric, that's 1.4 meters. And then the trees were identified with the help of the iNaturalist community through the iNaturalist app. So every single tree that I went out and measured, I then physically took pictures of it and then uploaded this onto the iNaturalist app where people could comment and also suggest what the tree species that I identified was. And then tree locations were GPS tagged and adjusted through iNaturalist. And here's me adjusting the GPS location of a tree that I observed. For this project, I chose 12 schools based on the Tacoma Schools Urban Heat and Trees story map created by Joey and Fig. The story map created a ranking system for all schools in Tacoma based on afternoon air temperatures, number of street trees, environmental health disparity rankings, and urban tree canopy and equity index rankings. And then taking all 5 of these rankings and these metrics, combining them and averaging them out, you get a final score for each single school, and then you can rank them. I chose the top 2 highest ranked schools and 2 lowest ranked schools from the high school, middle school, and elementary school blocks. And I wanted to see if there'd be any differences between trees lower ranked and higher ranked schools within their respective school type. And I also want to see if there's any differences between the school types as a group. So are elementary schools doing better than high school trees? And are high school trees doing better than middle school trees? My hypothesis was that trees at lower ranked schools will be less healthy compared to trees at higher ranked schools, and that high school trees will be healthier on average compared to middle school and elementary schools. My reasoning for this hypothesis was that high schools tend to have more money and more budgeting, so they may be able to have more resources available at their disposal to take care of their trees. And trees that were ranked higher tend to be in areas where there's more money, more resources around, and they also have more resources to take care of the trees and actually manage them. In total, I surveyed 1,818 trees and then added them to the Tacoma Public Schools Tree Inventory and Naturals Project. Only 1,795 trees were allowed into the final model analysis, as 23 trees were found to later be not on school property. Besides the research component of my project, I wanted to find some way to engage my community into understanding the importance of urban forestry. By creating a tree inventory for Tacoma Public Schools, I could provide educators with potentially a new tool that they could use in the classroom to engage students with the trees around them on their own school grounds. A kid going to their school can actually see that, hey, this tree is around this size, it is this species, and there are X amount of them on my school property, and they can start to understand why these trees are important, why they're here, and what sort of benefits they get from having these trees on their property and the school to go to. Data was organized through Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets, and then I used Tableau Public to visualize my data and create tree maps. And then I also use iTree Eco version 6, which is a modeling software provided by the U.S. Forest Service free of charge. It was created by the Northern Research Station, and it calculates ecosystem benefits based off of inventory data that you give it. So here is what my data looked like in Excel. I can't show all my findings, and I plan presenting those at a later time and date because it is a lot. So these are tree conditions across all 12 schools, and then this is a percent of trees over 6 inches and percent of trees below 6 inches. And I can run some more models and analysis later, but I don't have time to go through that right now. So here are the tree inventory maps. So this is First Creek Middle School 2024 tree inventory. It shows the species count, the tree condition count, and also each circle, the size of the circle is based on the DBH, color is based on species, and then it's fully interactable. And this is open source. People can go and find all my data online right now. So for Foss High School 2024 tree inventory, each single circle is fully interactable. You can click on them and you can zoom in on it and it'll tell you the common name, sun exposure, tree condition, the GPS coordinates of where I observed this tree, and then also the scientific name and the day and time that I observed this and DBH. It's also with these interactable maps, you can also sort by tree species. So let's say I only want to find Douglas fir. I can click that and it'll show me where all the Douglas fir trees are on this map for phos. I can also sort by tree condition. So where are all the excellent trees on this property and where are they? And I can potentially do some more analysis with that. And there are 12 of these maps fully online right now, ready to go and be sent to all 12 schools. And then the iTree written reports. These are ecosystem analysis done by iTree. I give them my inventory data, so my DBH values, the tree species values, the sun exposure, and also the tree condition values. And then from there, it's able to give me a written report on the number of trees. So this is a total inventory report. So 1,795 trees. It tells me the most common trees I found: Cali pear, Douglas fir, cherry plum, percent of trees less than 6 inches, pollution removal, carbon storage. And it's also able to give a monetary value, and this is an estimate, by the way, a monetary value to the ecosystem benefits provided by all of these trees combined. And all of these trees, all added up, equate to $3.2 million in replacement value. So the amount of money it would take if we were to cut down all these trees and replace them with a tree of the same statute would cost around $3.2 million. So here's a full species breakdown telling us what the tree composition mostly was for all of these trees combined. Also tells us the average, like the most common size, and does a DBH class. So 6 to 12 inches was the most common tree size. Also where all these trees are mostly from. It also does a carbon storage and carbon sequestration model and shows you like which trees are doing the most in terms of carbon storage and also sequestering the most amount of carbon per year. And also is able to, like I said, give a monetary value to that. Here's tree oxygen production values, also avoided stormwater runoff values, all the way down to tree and building energy use. I wasn't able to calculate these, but the next time I do something like this, I will be including this into my data. It also gives replacement value. So what trees were the most valuable that I found on in total in these properties, and Douglas fir is the most common. Creating a tool for educators to use in the classroom, I think, is really important because the next generation of people to live in this planet before me, I mean, after me, will be people who are currently learning. And if we're able to give them the tools and the reason for why this is important, they can go about in the world and try to make the world a better place, which I think is always a good thing. Reducing plant blindness, people don't necessarily really recognize plants around them as important, I think is also important. So giving teachers the resources and ability and these tools to be able to go about and show their students what's here can, I think, help out a lot. And also preparing our schools for climate change. Schools can potentially use this data and argue for why they should have more trees planted or show where we can plant more trees. I plan on doing a Tacoma Community College tree inventory this upcoming fall quarter. And then also I'll be doing a Swayze Library tree inventory because I live right next there. And also be reaching out to all 12 schools and presenting my data. So each school will have a written report and also a Tableau map. And also be reaching out to my old high school SOTA. I still have some contacts with teachers there, and I really want to see if there's any way I can, as an alumni coming back, give back to my community and engage old high school students from the high school I went to and get them interested in this. So yeah. Acknowledgements. I'd really like to thank Emery Walls, Jamie Haseman, Emma Zetkowski, Luke Shilto, and my brother Jason Pham for helping collect and measure all these trees. Thank you to Susan Bennett, one of the TCC Ecology Lab techs, for letting me borrow lab equipment for my project. Also, a huge shout out to Adrian Scarcella, the MESA program head, for letting me use a whiteboard in the MESA Center for an entire quarter. I'd also like to thank Becky Say for encouraging me to apply this internship. I would never have gone applied if not for her words of encouragement. She seriously got me to apply. And also, finally, a huge shout out to Figs and Joy for being amazing bosses and advisors for this internship. As said in the beginning, funding for this project was provided by the Inflation Reduction Act and USDA Forest Service Urban and Community Forestry Program. Also, huge shout out to all the interns who came along and are part of this huge trip. It's been fun, guys.